All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of.
All right, guys.
Yeah, how you doing, Tyler?
I'm great.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
I feel like I just saw you.
Yeah.
So on this episode of All right, guys, what are we talking about?
We're gonna recap a little bit more about your experience at Oak City,
Okay.
and then I know there's some questions that people had about our first pilot podcast. So I think you'll go into detail about that. Touch base on Dirtsuferz. Am I gonna race or not?
I know the answer to this question. I know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm going to let Tyler tell you guys. I do want to say that, the last podcast that we did, the first one, we had some technical difficulties, but all in all, we received a lot of love for it, and people were messaging me and asking me and telling me that it was good and they were excited for it. So I'm super happy about that. So we decided to go ahead and do another one.
We'll keep it going. You know, we got to double digits on Spotify. We got to 10 views, 10 listens.
10 listens.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. And
this is fun.
Yeah.
I like doing this. It helps me get all my talking out. You know? And you like to listen. I think one of the comments was that you need to let the other guy talk. And it's like, if you haven't met me, then you don't understand. But if you've met me, then you understand. I talk a lot. So there's a woman here on Instagram. Her name is Kristen. Her Instagram is Kristen Lewin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. What does that say?
Yep. Looks right to me.
Is that correct?
Kristen Lewin.
Okay. And we need to tag her on this.
Okay.
When we post this. But she had a couple actually good questions that I'm gonna answer. So unfortunately, Tyler wasn't at Oak City. He had other important things that he had to get done. So that sucks. Wish you were there. But
I was there in spirit, though.
Yeah, you definitely were there in spirit. So this is going to be a couple little questions here. The first question was, how was your experience at Oak City Shred Fest? Well, it was my first experience, and it was absolutely a blast. I can't explain how much fun I had, not even on the racing side. The racing was absolutely phenomenal, but just the whole vibe, I think there was like over 400 or 500 people. I may be wrong, but I know that there was a lot of people.
Okay.
The vendor setup was perfect. It was, all lined up. Everything was there. The charge station was there. It was just an all-out great event. Everybody was super nice, and a lot of those people on the east side, they all ride together anyway. So for them having people from Central or the west side, it was super cool for them. They absolutely loved it. So my experience at Oak City was absolutely amazing. I would definitely go back year after year just for the festival part of it. And I think I'm gonna sneeze, so.
While you sneeze, from the outsider watching the live stream, like many of you probably watched the live stream. That was a good one. They did such a banger job, Amped Electric Games, with the live stream. Very professional. They had a hiccup at the beginning there, but I mean, they had their ducks in the row. They got it corrected.
But can you imagine like how much setup, how much time goes into setting all this stuff up?
I can only imagine.
You guys didn't see it from the viewers point, but if you were there, they had monitors. They had like 6 monitors. They had computers. They had cameras placed everywhere. They had cords and just hundreds of feet of cords just running everywhere. And then it was a dusty environment. So they had one guy or a couple guys that would go around with canned air and just like and just blow everything off because it was super dusty.
Wow.
But it looked like a ESPN setup. I mean, the time and effort they put into that, it was amazing. That right there just shows how much love and just how much they just want to make the sport really big.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see that. And I was telling Bianca that how awesome it was. Excuse me. During that. But another question is, any suggestions? Like, you have nowhere else to be.
Bye.
This is the joys of doing this outside. We wanted to change the scenery up. We thought this would be pretty cool. So another question that she had was, any suggestions for a better time? I honestly couldn't think of anything that would have been a better time, or made me have a better time, because it was my first event, or it was my first Oak City event. Now, I'm sure people who've gone there in the past maybe said, well, you know, I wish you can do this, or we can do this, but everything about it was awesome. The food was great. They always had, at a certain time, I think it was like 9 or 10, they had food trucks there. The coffee guys were there early around 9 o'clock. So there was always something, and then they closed late at night, but there was always something to eat, something to do. I think maybe one thing would be seating. They had a tent that had a couple tables here and there. I don't know what goes into getting rentals or party rentals for seats and all that. But you know, if there was more seating for a lot of other people to sit and actually watch the trick comp, because everything was surrounded around the trick competition area. These dogs right here. So I think that's really, and that's not even that big of a deal. I didn't mind. I was sitting on my board like this, right, like you are. So I didn't think that was that big of a deal. So I don't think I could have had a better time, to be honest with you. The next one is my favorite memory of Oak City Shred Fest. This is really hard because I have a couple, and I've talked about this a couple times, and I've told you. I want to say, obviously, my number one is the racing part of it. You know, this is my second race, my first year into ORL racing, so in itself was super memorable. Just the whole racing, qualifying, coming in first and qualifying, all that was just absolutely memorable. But it was the one that I think I said on the first podcast was just riding around at 3 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time it was, super early in the morning, and I just couldn't sleep. I had so much on my mind, and wound up going into a forest like this, and there was a tent. And within that tent, there was Heather Wrench from San Antonio, and Kay, and there was a couple other guys, but there was Josh Johnson, who they call Terminator, and another guy, and we just sat there and talked for a good, I would say, hour. And then we went, he was like, do you want to go hit some trails? I mean, it's pitch black. There's no lights out there. You want to go hit some trails? Well, yeah, I do. And we went and hit some trails, and that was so fun. Like, I talk about that all the time, because just the camaraderie, and how I can just, anybody can just ride up to anybody and say, hey man, how you doing? And just have full-on conversations. You don't feel judged. You know, you're invited. You feel loved, all that stuff. So that was so fun, man. I wish you could have experienced that, but I wish other people can experience that if they haven't already. That was probably the highlight of the whole trip.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. And then the next question is, and you saw it, sent you a video, is how did you like the float track? Was it too hard or was it too easy? So if you guys didn't know, and I'm sure you knew, is the float track was different than the qualifying track. So it was kind of cool to qualify on a completely different track than you're racing on. Totally gets your mind, you know, different, gets it going differently, and try to figure out strategies to how to hit it. I liked the float track. I thought it was pretty cool. It was a figure 8. I mean, you saw from the videos.
Yeah.
Figure 8. You know, we rode. What do you think about Spider? Like, as far as smoothness and stuff.
You know, it's hard for me to say what's chunky and what's not, because we're used to chunk all the time, right? But Spider, I know to others it's definitely chunky, and it's all about finding the smooth lines, because from what I'm finding, unless it's really gnarly, there's a smooth line somewhere on some chunky lines, on some chunky trails. So,
and that's how Austin is. And I told everybody that. I told Josh Johnson, Terminator, he's the one that helped build the track, especially on the qualifying track. And I told him Austin trails are chunky, and then there are some flowy, smooth, fast areas with chunk right after that. So, and that's how the flow track was. It was very chattery. That's what I never called it before, but Christy Miller, we went around the track and she was showing me it, and she kept saying chattery, and that is such a good definition of what these trails are. Just very chattery. I always say chunky, or they're rooted or divoted or whatever, but chattery is a perfect explanation. So I thought it was cool. There was, you know, there was no elevation changes other than maybe rollers, and there was a couple drops here. Maybe I would like, you know, they call me J Drop for a reason, right? So I like dropping off things and sending it. So maybe a little more sendy jumps or drops, right? That would be.
Because there was like one jump, right, on one part of the
track. The rollover, I think it was called Hoppy Hill, which was the first one right after the start.
Well, there was that one, but then I feel like wasn't there another little jump?
There was another little jump. That was more of a rollover, but they had small jumps. They had, let's see, they had 2 other jumps other than the rollovers.
Okay.
Three. I'm sorry, 3. But they weren't very tall, you know. And I think as far as pros, I think it would be really cool to see a little more higher jumps, or where you really have to send it. You know, there's no let's take it easy over this. So I think that would be cool. But other than that, I mean, I love the track. It was awesome. You would have excelled on it because again, it's just like this.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling everybody. It was just like Austin Trails.
Cool.
So shout out to Kristen what did I say her name was? Excuse me if I didn't get your name.
Kristen Lewin?
Lewin? Yeah, Kristen Lewin. So shout out to you. Thank you for the questions. I appreciate you guys commenting on that and helping us give us, you know, something to talk about during these podcasts.
Yeah. Definitely.
So what do you want to talk about?
I guess we could roll into Dirtsuferz.
Well, let's talk about what happened to you at Let It Ride real quick.
Sure.
Tell the world what happened to you, because not a lot of people know.
I feel like a lot of people
No one knows.
Nobody
Just pretend
knows?
like no one knows.
Nobody knows.
Just
okay.
pretend.
So I landed on my shoulder multiple times at Let It Ride. And so what happened was my collarbone, my clavicle separated from the joint there, got a grade 3 AC separation. So right now I can still push on my collarbone and it'll bounce up and down.
So how high can you raise your arm right now?
I can go like...
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I hurt my knee too, and that is still...
when did you hurt your knee though? Tell everybody when you...
I hurt my knee on day 1, dude.
We dropped the stuff off at the hotel.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you want to do, Tyler?" He's like, "Let's go hit this trail."
Man, I was feeling so good too.
Yeah,
that was some fun trails.
When you hurt that knee, I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, that was a blow for sure. I didn't know if I was gonna race or not.
Yeah.
But my knee's still bugging me. My shoulder, I'm glad that I can finally, move it around. So, when I'm going to balance, I can do that without hurting it.
Yeah.
And my acupuncturist recommended some kinesio tape, which is like athletic tape.
I've used that before.
But it's like stretchy, right? Yeah. And I went on YouTube and figured out you could strap it for a grade 3 AC separation, and it'll help hold it down. Yeah.
Over here, yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to help me when we get to
anything to get your shirt off. I will definitely. You're gonna have to shave your chest.
No, I actually already shaved that corner.
That's perfect.
I shaved that corner already. It's ready for you.
You should shave feather racing riding. But I want people to know like how you felt, because when we were at Let It Ride, Tyler hurt himself in the time qualifiers, and we had been practicing all day Thursday, and we were sending it down the hill, and it was so fun. And he fell a couple times. I think one time you're like, "Man, I fell," and it just put everything back in place.
Yeah, that's the video that is on my Instagram.
Yes.
It goes into slow-mo. That one didn't hurt at all.
But how did you feel? Like, I mean, we had this whole, I know the way I felt, but how did you feel after you got hurt? Because you got hurt on the qualifying time, right?
Yeah. On both of my
That's right,
because
we had
two attempts.
That's right.
And
gosh,
I heard it twice. I heard it a little bit the first one, and then I really smacked it on the second one.
Yeah, you sure did.
And right when I hit, I knew that I was done.
Yeah.
And that was emotionally harder than it was physically, for sure.
Yeah.
But after I took some time, and
were you mad, or are you mad that you couldn't race, or were you more sad about the situation?
I was more sad and upset. Yeah. I mean, I was a little bit frustrated at myself for not listening to myself on strategy. But
did you tell him that the reason that you were landing on your body was to protect your knee?
I guess, that was something I learned, I was not wanting to run it out because of my knee. I was like, if I can't run it out, so I'm just going to take it to the shoulder. And so that's a big lesson there for me to, trying to protect one body part, and I ended up injuring another body part even worse. So something for me to be aware of, moving forward. For sure.
that was, everybody was just rooting for you, man. That sucked, man. That's the only word that you can use. That sucked.
It definitely sucked. For sure.
But let's talk about Dirtsuferz. It is Monday afternoon.
Yep.
And we will be heading out for Dirtsuferz on Wednesday morning. How do you feel about that?
I'm feeling good. I'm obviously a little bit nervous, especially since of all the rain we've got in Austin. I haven't been able to train since I've been feeling ready. I felt ready to start training about 2 weeks ago,
and it's been raining.
Nothing but rain, So I have to be strategic with my practicing when we get there and stretching and
it's like a whole nother mental game.
Yeah, because
not only like the racing part of it, but keeping yourself healthy as far as not to either re-injure or injure yourself more.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
And I would say that Dirtsuferz is the most grueling, hardest, most challenging race of the whole season.
Yeah.
I would argue that maybe Wheel Scorcher, if Wheel Scorcher was happening this year, that would be the hardest because the trails are so long. But Dirtsuferz with 6 or 7 stages, about 7 to 8 miles in total.
Yeah.
That takes a toll. So not only do we have to practice the trails and get to know the trails, and then we have to race them, and we get one shot.
And then you have to do it under these conditions, because it is tacky right now. And
it's tacky here.
I'm assuming this is what it's like in Dirtsuferz.
We'll see. I haven't checked the weather, but
I'm not even gonna look.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. But I'm not even gonna look.
We all have the same playing field when we get there, so it's just gonna be what it is. So definitely coming into Dirtsuferz feeling a lot more wise.
Yeah.
And having a lot more strategy, seeing the people that are in the top 10 in ORL right now and thinking, wow, okay, if those guys must have some strategy, including you. Yeah, you're number 8.
Dude,
that's crazy.
Me,
Kyle Klossing's in there.
Kyle Klossing, Jeff Adair. I'm just talking about Texas boys.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Texas boys.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm in there. Never even thought I'd be in there, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you. That is amazing.
Why are you racing? Why are you racing Dirtsuferz?
Why am I deciding to race?
Yes. Because the reason I asked this is because, as I already told you, we had our man-to-man talk.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are worried about you, man, but they don't know how strong you are, like I do, mentally and physically. But a lot of people want to know why.
Well, the way I see this race is, this might be the last race of the season for me.
Okay.
And I'm taking this race as a teaching race to really become a more consistent rider.
Okay.
Obviously, the goal for everybody is to not come off their board.
Yeah.
But to really enforce that within myself,
right.
To instead of letting the adrenaline, the excitement, and the fun just take me down the trail, really pull it back and know that I have more to give and complete the trail that way. It seems to be working for other people.
Yeah.
And as much as that is not as much fun,
right?
I love to send it or die, and I'm learning I should probably find a happy medium there. And doing it while injured is going to help me learn that.
Dial it down.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. I get super stoked, super excited. My adrenaline's pumping. Everybody's around there. Everybody's just loving everybody. Everyone's giving each other props and all that. And then you get into the moment and you just want to full send.
Yeah.
And that's where I went wrong. That's how I messed up on Oak City on the semifinals. Is I just tried to full send it and it just didn't work out for me. So I got some things under my hat that I'm gonna try to pull out Dirtsuferz. But I don't think you know this, but Dirtsuferz is my I wouldn't say nemesis, but it's definitely my when you're young and you got that bully that always picks on you and you're kind of scared of him, but he's not going to do anything too crazy, but you still don't want to walk down the hallway that he's walking. Dirtsuferz is the same way for me, and the reason I say that is because I went there last year and I didn't have any I wasn't trying to race or do anything. I was just there to have fun, and I got beat up. My fingers got cut, elbows got cut. I didn't do too shabby as far as time wise, but I'm nervous about Dirtsuferz. You know, I just it's that bully that I got to overcome. You know, and it's I have to be very tactical with it. You know, so I'm super excited, but also super nervous about it, especially because the weather, how it is over there now, is kind of what it was last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but last year we actually moved the races to Sunday, and then had, I think the excursion race was on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was just, and I don't know how you did it.
I did it.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys did it. It was crazy. All the mud. What number was it? 6 at the bottom, or was it 5? At the bottom, where it was just a mud pit, right before the bridge, and then there was the street. I don't know what track number that was, but
I had so much fun on that. Like, and they recommended it as a JWXR or a GT because of how long it was.
It was like 11, 12 miles?
No, I don't think. Well, I think it was like 7 or 8 total.
It was pretty long.
It was long. I mean, it took about 30 minutes to do.
Golly.
And I was on a stock XR because my JW battery wasn't working, and I decided, screw it, I want to race. And so I raced on a stock XR battery, and about 3/4, 60% of the way through, not only was the battery feeling a little weak, but I had a flat tire.
Oh, that's right.
And so I was doing so well. I get a completely flat tire, and I'm at the last. I get to the top of the last uphill, and it was like that final stage.
Downhill.
And I did that completely dead flat. And right at the end, because it was so wet, I came off the board, and I forget his name, but he I can't think of his name, but he passed me, and I didn't think anything of it, and he ended up getting 3rd in the XR class.
Oh, dang.
And so
that could have been you.
I know. And so
with the flat tire.
With the flat tire, and I had like 10% battery left at the end of it. It was wild. And so
what you're saying is it's going to be even wilder this time around, right?
Yes. And I haven't decided if I'm doing that one or not.
That's right.
We'll see how I feel after the races. You know, I mean, I'm gonna see and wait until I practice the trails.
Right.
You know, I really don't want to hurt myself. That's not my goal here. My goal is to be able to run it well and confidently. And if I don't feel like I can do that on practice days, then I won't race.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, if you've never been there before, I'm sure a lot of you have. All the 10 people that watched or listened to our podcast. But Dirtsuferz is a completely different race.
Compared to the last two.
The last two were, you know, head to head, or you know, you versus 2 other guys, or you versus 3 other guys.
Yeah.
With time trials being the day before to put you in finals or semifinals. Whereas Dirtsuferz is, like you were explaining earlier, is you hit it once and you go to the next one, then you hit that one once and you go to the next one, and you do all 7?
There was 7 last year.
All 7 tracks, and then that's it.
Yeah.
There is no qualifying for the next day. There is no, you know, I did okay, but tomorrow I'm going to do better, or my next lap I'm going to do better. That's it.
It's intense.
So
what I love about Dirtsuferz is that because the trails are so long, like the nerves wear away.
Right.
And so you can really just get up there and have a good time and run it.
Yeah. And you know, you can hit, after you hit the first one, you can hit any one like at any time. So
right, yeah.
Remember, it's not like you have to hit 1 and then 2. You can hit 1, 2, and then take a break. But I don't remember how I did it. How'd you do it last year?
I did like 2 top off, 2 top off.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't. There was GTs last year.
There were GTs. GTs were brand new. And very few were racing on them.
Yeah. Oh, my leg.
I mean, a JW or a JW XR on WTFs is what won it.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Nobody had wrangled down the GT to be the fastest Ford yet.
That's true. That's true. I mean, the GT has the torque, you know, especially on that trail.
Ooh, I got a question for you.
Oh.
Okay, so you defeated all the Vesks in qualifiers.
Okay, let's not
at Oak City.
Let's not go too far. I was 0.03 seconds behind Enrique.
So you dominated Enrique. Love you, Enrique. But you crushed him.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Nico and Riley Johnson are on the big tire.
Yep.
For Dirtsuferz.
Yep.
So how do you think we're gonna stack up to the best guys in the open class?
I love the best guys. Don't get me wrong. And again, going back to Oak City, is I didn't know I was in that position.
Yeah.
And Les, he yelled at me. He said, "Hey, make sure you take a screenshot because you're not going to be up there for long." I will always remember that. I thought it was funny. But then when people were coming up to me and talking to me about beating the best, wasn't even thinking about that. But I started thinking about it, and it's kind of an accomplishment to me, especially Enrique, dude. That dude's fast.
Oh yeah.
And Nico, that guy's fast, man. They got like turbos or something on those boards. But I don't know, man. Dirtsuferz is not an animal where going fast is really how to win it. You have to have skills, which all of us do, but it really just takes that one person coming off the board or something happening. So I'm super pumped to see it. Man, that build that Nico did.
Yeah.
Nico, shout out to you for that build, dude. That thing looks burly. Mm-hmm. That can eat some terrain.
With the control freaks and the bigger tire.
Yeah.
And there's people that have been going up there and practicing, and so there's going to be those riders and then the best riders. I mean, Riley Johnson smoked everybody at the underground at Spider. Like,
what was he riding?
He had the big tire,
extended rails,
and with the control freaks. Yeah. And I don't even know if he had the tilt remote or not.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I can't remember, but
that's who I want to see. I befriended Enrique over at Oak City, and I think he's going to Is he going to Dirtsuferz?
Yeah, he's got it.
He has to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is or not, but I would love to see him hit that track because he's such a fast rider. And Nico also. I mean, I saw Nico last year, hit that track. So I can't imagine what Nico can do this year, man. With that board, that thing, it's like it looks like it's built to just.
Yeah, it's gonna
mob these trails.
I mean, the fact that Riley Johnson got like 14 plus seconds faster than second at the underground on Spider, which is similar chunky trails.
Spider is dangerous.
It's gonna be tough. It's any man's game at the end of the day, but this will definitely be the year that some fireworks go off.
Yeah. So it's pretty intense, and I'm gonna try something new this year.
Oh.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I got some different rails on my board.
Sure enough, I can see your battery and your controller.
Yeah, don't look. But these are the 357Ts from One Wheel Parts, and I'm super nervous about riding them. They feel really good. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect, man. There's so much stuff that's gonna go into this weekend.
And I know Nick Payne has pulled some things up his sleeve, so there's gonna be there's gonna be some gems for the pro class.
Yeah,
and
he's a tricky guy.
There's gonna be some curveballs for sure. So
I love curveballs, man. I love
keeps it exciting. Yeah. Okay, so we talked about Oak City. We wrapped that up. Talked about my injury. Am I gonna race? Yes, I'm gonna be racing.
Tyler's gonna race, you guys.
Oh wait, I'm like 95% sure I'm gonna race.
Tyler's 95% sure he's gonna race, guys.
I want to race.
Tyler's 96% sure he's gonna race, guys.
And
talked about Dirtsuferz, Oak City, and just some things here and there. Yeah, man, I love doing this.
Yeah,
this is awesome. We're at Walnut Creek, which is one of our major trails in Austin, Texas, and this is actually the spot that Tyler and I train a lot.
Yeah, it's one of the main spots.
A lot, and I love this place. It has a little bit of everything.
I was just gonna say the same. Yeah.
It has flow, and it has chunk, and it has technical areas.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty nice spot. But thanks for doing this again.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll see you in
a couple days. Yeah.
Or maybe I'll see you next week for the other one. Maybe we'll do one every Tuesday, or put it out every Tuesday.
Maybe we'll film one at Dirtsuferz.
Oh, and we can get some.
some guests?
I'll spit it out. Yeah, we can get some. I was gonna say some celebrity guests.
So some celebrity guests?
Yeah.
There will be plenty of celebrities at
Yeah.
Dirtsuferz.
Yeah, maybe we can get Kyle Hansen on here.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
we can get Jeff Adair. Maybe Neil Bennett.
Yeah.
Who want to talk to our 10 followers.
I'm willing to bet we're going to get 20 listens on this one.
20.
20. Double what we got last time.
Wow. Yeah, you're shooting for the moon, aren't
Yep.
you? Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Only way to do it.
I'm gonna say 19 and a half.
Okay.
Someone's gonna stop halfway through. So.
I'll see if the analytics will show that.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see you later.
I'll see you Wednesday morning.
All right. Wednesday morning.
All right.
All right. See ya.
See ya.